What's happening, folks? Here is your full lake Okoboji tournament recap. So we were at the American Kayak Series, Lake Okoboji, Iowa. Beautiful place. Let's get that out of the way first and foremost. This place is, I mean, you want to go vacation, destination place to go fish. This is a great option. It is just all the little towns surrounding are really welcoming for folks out of town, anglers, good family areas, you know, with lots of stuff to do. Beautiful series of chain of little lakes in there. Sets up with the biggest body of water is probably Big Spirit, then West Okoboji, East Okoboji. Minawashta, I think is the name of it, is a little one down there. Then you got Lower and Upper Gar that are a little chain, all kind of connected through waterways and such, except Big Spirit. That one's kind of on its own up there. So coming into this, I had a little bit of feedback, a little bit of information to point me in the right direction. So went in there on Wednesday, beautiful day Wednesday. Saw what I needed to see quite a bit. Went into the canals area. Backed off. Didn't want to, you know, blow anything out. Just knowing how many people would be going through the canals. Canals are known. You know, I mean, people just go there, especially with the weather that they were calling for, which was going to be very high winds on Friday. It seemed like it was a legitimate place to go. Any of those little canal areas in on West over there for sure. So then Thursday, I got out. It was supposed to be really nasty on Thursday, but it actually turned out to be a really good day. It had a little bit of wind going, but that was okay. And I went over to East Okoboji and found a couple areas, man, that really looked promising. And if my weather app was right on what direction the wind was going to be coming from, even if it was 20-25 mile an hour, I should have been, you know, shielded and sheltered somewhat in this area that I was wanting to fish. It wasn't a canal, it was a big flat, but a big weedy flat. There were pike in there, but if you went through the pike, you could find the bass that were hiding in there, and there was quality in there that we absolutely put eyeballs on and confirmed. So Friday, I made the decision that I wasn't going to go to the canals like everybody else was, and I was absolutely going to go to that flat there and just see how it works. So as usual, got up really early. The wind wasn't that bad at all. So went over to East, dropped in. And I gotta say, before I get going too much further, man, I felt really good about the stuff that I had found. Some of the things that I had found in practice. I had found a section of fish that would hit moving baits. They were still hunting. They weren't on beds yet. They were pulling. You could tell they were on their way, but I found some staging locations. And I really felt that would be, you know, my go-to. That was going to be my bread and butter there, was find those fish that weren't up on beds yet, because I was finding better quality hanging around, finding some females out there, you know, that could have really made the difference for me. So that was really what we were gaming for. And then, you know, if needs be, middle of the day or whatever, I thought, well, I could pull out and head over and hit the canals or whatever. So there was on day one, head over to East, launch, make my run, get up to the area where I need to be. My guess was right, which direction the wind was coming from. It really wasn't that bad. All day, to be honest with you, even with the wind kind of changing slightly here and there, maybe 1 foot, you know, waves, 1.5 feet. I mean, it was nothing in that New Canoe Unlimited. And with my anchor mode on with my motor guide, I was fine. I was never felt, and there were a couple big wind gusts that came up that caught me broadside that had to pay attention to real quick. But for the most part, there was no safety issues. And I went to work on that weed flat. A couple pike right out the gates. And then the shenanigans ensued. For the course of the next 4 hours, 5 hours, 1, 2, 3, so 5 hours. The bite was a lot slower, but keep in mind, cloud front was there, and it was colder, much colder than what it was any other day. The water temp was down a few degrees, and wind rolling right over top of that weed flat for sure. So wasn't overly too concerned with that. Still felt if I was patient and worked enough, I would find them in there. And when I would get a bite throughout the course of my time there that day, 6 for sure. There might have been, I kind of started losing count because I started getting spun out in my head. 6 fish that come unpinned from my bait. Different baits. No one bait specifically. The one that baffled me is how in the heck a bass comes unpinned from a 3 treble hook jerkbait. Dude, I can't move that thing around in my kayak without snatching my sleeve, my eyelid, my toenail, a tackle box, and another 3 fishing rods. All get snarled up in those things. But somehow this bass can run up to it, smash his face into it, rub around, and not get pinned. And I got no problem telling you, the first one that come unpinned was on a Berkeley Stunner, which those are good baits. I then, because this was about the 3rd or 4th one that had come unpinned when I moved over to the jerkbait, and that come unpinned. And so I put the one and last only Megabass 110 that I had on board. I thought to myself, literally I said it out loud, $25 jerkbait, pike infested waters, what could go wrong? So I threw it out there, caught a pike. He got all tangled up in it, got him in, no problem. Threw back out there, boom, another bass, jumped, boom, spit it. How or why, I have no clue. But for sure, 6 keeper fish that I had eyeballs on. Watch them crest out of the water, watch them come up to the top, get to the boat, come unhinged before I could get a net on them. Just total execution failure on my part is the bottom line. I just did not get the job done. That's the only common denominator in all this stuff is I just, I don't know if I went through and put the wrong baits on the wrong gear or whatever. Just was not executing, man. And yeah, it cost me. It cost me quite a bit. I want to say about 12:30, 1 o'clock, I went ahead and loaded the kayak up into the truck and ran over to the canals. And by the time I got to the canals, there were so many people in there that, I mean, sloppy seconds doesn't even do it justice. Everything had just been completely picked over by the time I got there and started snooping around. Caught a couple dinks. And yeah, I think I had 2 fish for the day that we put up on the board for day 1. So I knew we were done. We were out of it. Just a rough day after having one of the best pre-fishing sessions that I've had all season with. It wasn't, if you know me, I don't look for fishing spots per se. I'll obviously pay attention to a spot that seems to produce, but that's not what I'm banking on, because I know that on any given moment the luck factor kicks in, right? I mean, who's to say I'm the first there? Could be somebody else had the same idea, moved in. Bad luck on my part, So I don't go too deep on a spot itself. I try to pay attention to what the spot contains, so that I can go around a given area and try to duplicate that, and try to find other options to that. And that's really what I felt I had accomplished with this pre-fishing time, because we had a couple areas kind of figured out, and I was finding things that I could duplicate around, and things were okay. And I was really trying to avoid the bed fishing routine, right? I did not want to turn it into that, because then, to be honest with you, I didn't see how you were going to be able to win it with bed fishing as your number one, just because of the fact that normally those are the males, normally those are the smaller fish. And going against these guys that we were going against up there, I mean, clearly you saw the results that came in, taking over 180 inches plus to win this thing. So yeah, man, so the canals did not work out for me. Tried a few unconventional things in there, and things just weren't panning out, weren't working well. So I just decided, screw it, man. We're just going to go fun fishing. We're going to go have some fun on day 2. We'll go to an area that we haven't been to, and we'll just go exploring. So I went up to Big Spirit on day 2. And, yeah, what I wanted to do on Big Spirit, I went looking for a couple things, a couple rock piles that I was supposed to be able to find. Could never find them. Wasn't looking in the right area. My decision making clearly was not right there. Went then and beat kind of the shorelines up a little bit, and just couldn't get any of those bedfish to really go. So I decided early on there, I think I fished there for 2.5, 3 hours, 3 hours there. And then I picked up stakes and I went back to east, thinking, you know what? Beautiful weather day. Yes, it is post frontal, but beautiful weather day. Let's go see if that flat's in play now. So hit that flat, went up and around this point, fished a point. Again, total different methods of fishing now for this day. 4 fish come unpinned. 4. One of them was somewhat equipment failure, just me learning different things about different types of rods and reels with certain wire gauge hooks, things of that nature. I wasn't paying attention to that. Should have, because it made me pay the price. By the time the day was said and done, I think it was 240, 245. I caught about a 16-inch off on the lower end of east, and off of it was a bedfish off of a lay-down log. And just to be honest with you, I knew it wasn't going to help my case any, so I just threw it back. By that time, I mean, I only had 10 more minutes to fish anyway. Went searching around, nothing else came up after that. So kind of squawked out, man. Results. I learned from the people that have done this for a lot of years, and I take their advice very, very, very much to heart. So I've learned that nowadays I don't try to focus too heavily on the negative results, because it'll spin you out in your head quite a bit, and that's all you come back to as you start getting flashbacks of negative outcomes and such. And so I try not to hang on that. But dog, I'm gonna be straightforward with you guys. It's tough to admit when you're not good at your job, man. This is my job, is to get out here and hit this stuff and go to work and at least have a good showing. And so when this whole season has just been a collective bag of poo, on the all in all. And so yeah, we just it's tough not to hang on it sometimes, I'll be honest. But I don't know, we're gonna figure out what we're doing wrong. One of the things that I was running through my head is decision making. I'm off on that. There's a few things in play which are causing that, which I see if I can get remedied. And then yeah, I mean, preparation seems to be there. I'm putting in the work, putting in the time, and you know, so that maybe is the hardest pill to swallow, is when you have these results, you know what you're capable of, but for whatever reason you can't execute and make that happen. So we'll figure it out, though. You know, that's, make no mistake, this ain't a boo-hoo type deal whatsoever. There's no quit. I don't have quit until I'm absolutely given no other option. We're going to keep after this, and we're going to figure it out. There's a lot riding on it. You know, the way we look at it, it's a lot bigger than just us, you know, winning a tournament and getting a Happy Gilmore check. There's a lot that comes with this that benefits the services with the TPO. We understand that, and that's what keeps us motivated to stay in this fight and keep going and figure this stuff out. So, at any rate, the Lake Okoboji is in the books. Next up for us, we get about a 2-week break, and the next event coming up for us is going to be Red Willow, Nebraska, for the Colorado Kayak Bassmasters. That's on, there's 2 separate events going on back-to-back days, Saturday and Sunday. That'll be on June 3rd and June 4th. And that should be an awesome event. One kind of a downer thing that we heard in the process is Red Willow's low on water again. They haven't had any rain out here in Nebraska, apparently. And so they're low on water, and so the water levels are wickedly low right now, which really sucks for this time of year. We were hoping to see the water levels much higher. So we'll have to just have to adjust and kind of look at what we saw last year, and we'll figure this out one way or another. So I kind of have an idea of what we want to do. All my thoughts about the cool places I wanted to go and fish a bunch of structure that I thought would have been covered in water, yeah, that's out the window. We're not doing that. So, but we'll be ready for that. We got a couple weeks. Bass Buggy, she's going to need some maintenance here, an oil change, look at the brakes and things of that nature, just to keep her in top shape as we roll down this road. And yeah, man, we'll get her put back together. All American Kayak Series, their next event, I want to say, is St. Clair. We're not going to make that one. Also, the next one after that is, I want to say, the Minocqua chain. We may or may not make that one. I don't know. And last would be the Mississippi River, pools 13 and 14, I think. And we're not going to make that one. So after that, we'll be going to Minelands, Kansas for All American, and then it's the championship at Felsenthal Refuge. That's all in September. So All American Series almost done with here. We'll have to see how all this pans out at the end of the day. So appreciate all your support, folks. Help us get these subscribes up, man. We just want to build this channel up more and more. That's the name of the game here for us on YouTube. If there's different things you want us to cover more of, we will. This is just one of those recap videos. I know a lot of the anglers like to kind of hear from other anglers what they go through and how things set up for them. And so that's what we try to share. As far as what I was fishing this last weekend, that in pre-fishing proved to be deadly for us. Like I said, I was able to find some staging fish, which means they were still hunting in a big way in a pre-spawn pattern. So we were literally getting bit off of jerkbait, off of chatterbait, spinnerbait. What else was a Ned rig? What else were we throwing in there? When I was pitching and flipping, of course, the altering tackle, a Rattling AT jig, that was killing it. And then putting on one of our Trocar Pro V hooks for pitching and flipping. I think it's the TK 130 punching hook, and we put that on there, and we're throwing some of the Rage Menace Rage Tails, the Magnums. We were putting those big old gnarly meaty bad boys on, pitching that into wood in different shadowy pockets, and we were horsing them out with that. Good Snell knot line up on that flipping hook, and getting the job done. So it was punching through. But yeah, other than that, that's what was working for us through pre-fishing. Tournament day, I'm not even going to share anything with it, because I told you everything I threw there, you know, we weren't getting any success on that stuff there. So I'll get into that a little bit more and share some of these tips to help you guys avoid that stuff possibly for the future too. Once I kind of break down, I'm going to need some time to go through my gear and see exactly what was going on, so that I can take some time to look at it a little bit closer and maybe make some guesses as to what was causing it. So, hey folks, again, help us with the subscribes, the follows, the likes. That's a massive, massive thing there. We appreciate your help and your support for the TPO and everything else that we got going out there. Check out the American Kayak Series. If you're an angler, you want to get out, come check out the All-American, man. That's the way to go. Fly over states, right in the heartland of America. Hitting some amazing fisheries around here, all around the Midwest. If you're going to fish a national trail, why not fish one that's a little bit closer to home? That's the way I look at it. And definitely you will be in no short supply of deadly anglers that you face. These guys are some of the best in the business. So ton of fun there, and you can learn a ton with the rest of us out there. Appreciate you guys, everything you're doing for us. Tight lines, y'all. Be safe.